Hi, I'm Radical Coder. This is Umbreon. And real quick, before we dive in, if you want to make sure this little dude stays fed and warm, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments what I got right, what I got wrong, or what you want to argue about. Let's go. This is a House committee on the judiciary talking about DOGE punishing agencies that investigated Elon's companies. So this should be a good read. Several federal agencies that were investigating Elon Musk companies have become the early targets of the Trump administration and Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, Department of Labor, which oversees the National Labor Relations Board, the Office of Federal Contract. I guess I don't need to read all of these, but I will, whatever. Of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission had over a dozen open investigations into Tesla and SpaceX regarding alleged unfair labor practices, safety violations, and discriminatory work practices. NLRB filed a complaint against SpaceX after 8 employees said they were fired in retaliation for speaking critically of Musk. SpaceX sued the NLRB in response. OFCCP was conducting an audit of potential workplace discrimination at Tesla. EEOC sued Tesla for alleged racial harassment and retaliation in 2023. The DOL Inspector General was unlawfully fired by Trump during his midnight purge of inspectors general on January 24th. Trump fired the chair of the NLRB and has effectively shut down NLRB's ability to rule on cases. Trump gutted OFCCP via an executive order on January 21st before the investigation's findings could be made public. Trump fired 2 of the 3 Democratic commissioners on the EEOC. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or as I think Kyle Kulinski likes to call them, the scam police, right? Which I think they have like a wildly positive approval rating. Grok is good. Actually, I love to use Grok, especially when asking questions about Elon, because it doesn't lie for him. Although, fun fact, we'll come back to this real quick, but this happened like very, very briefly last month. Someone pays the silence right again. I don't think it's on the table this time around, thankfully. Yeah, I keep saying AI is probably not going to take your job, but somebody using AI is probably going to take your job. You know, that's kind of the thing to watch out for. But here we go. XAI chief engineer blames a former OpenAI employee after Grok blocks results saying Musk and Trump spread misinformation. So the exact prompt change was Grok temporarily refused to respond with sources that mention Elon Musk and Donald Trump spread misinformation. So this was added to Grok's kind of internal prompt. Basically, it was like all of the instructions that tell Grok how to behave. And one of those instructions was ignore sources. I think it was actually ignore all sources. I think it was ignore all sources that mention Elon Musk and Donald Trump spread misinformation, which is just wild. No, I haven't looked at the JFK files. Is there anything like super juicy in there? Also, we haven't even touched on the Epstein stuff. Trump's best friend, a terrific guy, according to Trump, who likes beautiful women almost as much as he does. Super interesting that he is not releasing all of those details, right? And made a big show of releasing, I think it was just the call logs, like stuff that we already had information on, which Trump's name was also in, but whatever. All right, so back to the scam police. Consumers have submitted over 300 complaints about Elon Musk Tesla to the CFPB. 66 of these complaints were submitted in the last year. Trump fired CFPB director Rohit Chopra and installed Project 2025 architect Russ Vought as the Bureau's acting director. We talked about, or I think it's Russ Vought, not Russ Vought. I keep wanting to say Vought because of the boys. CFPB's Washington headquarters has been closed, and staff and contractors have been told that they cannot perform any work tasks. Again, this is CFPB. CFPB popularity, I think they have like an 80% approval rating or something like that in America. Like, voters overwhelmingly support the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's. These are recent actions, but yeah, this is the disapproval is just nothing. It's like 10% max for anybody, even Republicans and independents are like they either don't know or they like the scam police. Wild stuff. Musk tweeted, delete CFPB less than a week after the agency finalized a rule that could put his planned collaboration with Visa to offer real-time payment systems on the platform into the agency's crosshairs. So yeah, Musk wants to make X a payment platform as well. I think like something of a banking platform. And he tweeted, delete CFPB less than a week after they finalized a rule that was going to kind of evaluate that, right? So that's fun. It's still here. Delete CFPB. There are too many duplicative regulatory agencies. This one happens to be extremely popular, but oops. U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, the Inspector General of USAID, initiated a probe into Starlink satellite terminals provided to the government of Ukraine. The USAID has been shuttered after Musk Doge took a wrecking ball to the agency. The USAID Inspector General was fired days after publishing a report critical of the Trump administration's dismantling of the agency. RIP. Department of Transportation. DOT, which oversees National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, and the Federal Aviation Administration had several open investigations into Tesla. FAA had recently ordered SpaceX to carry out a formal investigation into the loss of a Starship vehicle during a test flight, and previously ordered over $630,000 in civil penalties against SpaceX. That Inspector General was fired by Trump. The FAA administrator resigned effective January 20th, following pressure from Musk. Let's see what that pressure was. He'd repeatedly clashed with Elon. He said the United States is the safest and most complex airspace in the world, and that is because of your commitment to the safety of the flying public. In his farewell to the agency, that's sad. Oh, okay. So Musk was promising to sue. He was promising to sue, and then a week later, so he first accused them of regulatory overreach, promised to sue them, and then called for Whitaker's resignation, which he got because he gets what he wants. He's the richest guy on the planet. We've got the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The USDA Inspector General launched a probe into Elon Musk's Neuralink in 2022 for potential violations of the Animal Welfare Act. As of January, the investigation was still ongoing. The USDA Inspector General, a 22-year veteran of the agency, was fired by Trump and later escorted out of her office by security guards. I don't like Vladimir Putin. No, I don't like Vladimir. I don't like him at all. No. I think he's a very, very bad guy. EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, EPA regulators have settled multiple lawsuits with Tesla over violations of the Clean Air Act and hazardous waste laws at the company's automotive manufacturing plant in Fremont, California. The EPA Inspector General was fired by Trump. The Federal Election Commission. The FEC is set to rule on a number of complaints filed during the 2024 election cycle, including complaints pertaining to Musk's America PAC. The Trump administration unlawfully removed FEC chairwoman Ellen Weintraub from her post. Department of the Interior, DOI, oversees the Fish and Wildlife Service, which monitors the federal lands near SpaceX's launch site in Texas for any damage to threatened species habitats. Musk has repeatedly clashed with the FWS, calling their review process unacceptable. That Inspector General was fired by Trump. Department of Defense concerns that SpaceX has repeatedly failed to comply with federal reporting protocols aimed at protecting state secrets, including by not providing some details of Musk's meetings with foreign leaders, have reportedly triggered federal reviews by DOD's Office of Inspector General, the Air Force, and the Pentagon's Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security. The Air Force also recently denied Musk high-level security access, citing potential security risks associated with the billionaire. The DOD Inspector General was fired by Donald Trump. You see the pattern? Department of Justice. The DOJ filed a lawsuit in 2023 against SpaceX for allegedly discriminating against asylees and refugees in hiring. DOJ also opened investigations into whether Tesla had been candid in describing the features of its vehicles. While leaving its Inspector General in place for now, the Trump administration has taken several actions to gut the DOJ, including firing top leadership and prosecutors. Love that. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, sued X in January 2025, alleging Musk misled shareholders about his Twitter stock purchase in 2022 and ordering Musk to pay the federal government as much as $150 million. Musk called the agency a totally broken organization in response to the lawsuit. I don't think that I don't know if I like communism necessarily. That's a very loaded statement, but I definitely don't. I don't think that anything I like about communism would be what Putin is doing. It's an authoritarian fascist regime. I don't think I would like. I don't think I would like Stalin's communism either. Ashley was debating in a Twitter space yesterday. Good for her. I need to hit her up. We should go fight. We can fight the powers together again, like the good old days. Trump vowed to fire the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, on day one. He stepped down before Trump could fire him, leaving a Republican majority at the SEC. And finally, the Office of Government Ethics, OGE, days after members of Congress requested the OGE investigate Mr. Musk's conflicts of interest, given his status as special government employee and his extensive business holdings that received billions of dollars in federal government contracts and subsidies. The director of OGE was fired by Trump. So lots of inspectors generals that were investigating Trump for a wide variety of things have been fired and removed. And those investigations, I imagine, have largely stalled, if not been completely dropped. So that's fun. I'll share that. Fizz in my cup, swimming good love. It was you at the club, miss your touch. Go again, baby, what's up? Nothing feels right, so let's mess up everything.